The moon's meaning. The moon indicates that things may seem somewhat confusing to you now. You may find it hard to understand where you are coming from, much less what others are thinking and feeling. You need to try to sit with the uncertainty. Don't try to force things or people to do things before they are ready. This card is the Pisces of the tarot deck. Past. Your understanding of a past event may be distorted by your current perceptions. Reflect on your history and make sure the pieces fit together. By eliminating uncertainty, you will find more peace. Present. There is a challenge approaching, taking the form of either a new creative project or a conflict in a relationship. Your history will reveal the best course of action. Future. Your imagination will bring you success if your thoughts are coupled with practical action. The struggle to reach your potential may bring about many conflicts in your life, but the results will be beautiful. The moon is an elusive and confusing card. It suggests the presence of risks, secrets, and some level of mental confusion. It would warn you to take caution and be careful in whatever endeavor you are pursuing in your life. The answer you are seeking is no. General, you are definitely in a more psychic and intuitive phase than usual, so it will be important for you to trust your instincts and your impressions, even if you don't know where they are coming from. Also, not that you need to be mistrusting, but it will be helpful for you to realize that when this card appears, it's possible that all is not what it seems. If you feel you can't trust someone, then you probably can't. Go with your gut. If you are waiting on an answer from someone, it may, unfortunately, take longer than you would like for it to. Try to stay patient. Work. Things unfortunately may not seem clear in the slightest. Ask questions and practice active listening to make sure that you and your coworkers understand each other perfectly. Again, patience is called for. Stay calm, and particularly if you are feeling attacked, give your coworkers and supervisors the benefit of any doubt. Reality may not be anywhere close to as bad as you think. Love. This card points to a highly emotional time in love relationships. Things can quickly become heated and or uncomfortable. Take a break if you need to. Don't make assumptions, and fight fairly, if you're going to fight. Pick your battles and be sure to treat your lover like a friend. Don't be in a hurry to end or to begin a relationship. This is probably not the best time for either course of action. Finances. If you're waiting on financial decisions that need to be made by others, the appearance of this card can imply that you'll need to wait longer. This is not a time to make business decisions based on anything other than absolute concrete fact. Health. Definitely follow your intuition as to your health issues. If a diagnosis, whether that's positive or negative, doesn't feel right, or you don't feel comfortable with your healthcare provider, get a second opinion or a new provider. For those that use alcohol or drugs, this is a time when it is definitely easy to overdo it. Indulge if you must, but in moderation. Spirituality. This is a very spiritual time and a great time to get a reading, healing work, or other helpful input from spiritual types. You are more psychically open than usual now. Pay attention to your thoughts and feelings, and to flashes of information that come seemingly out of nowhere. This is also a great time to access the great spiritual books of the world. You'll get more out of them than usual. Tarot history. The history of the tarot is shrouded in mystery. Very little in the way of concrete information is known about its origin, although many things have been written about it. We will probably never know the truth, as fact and fiction seem to be irrevocably mixed nowadays. The tarot originated in northern Italy in the early 15th century, sometime between 1420 to 1440. Despite the fact that it is often attributed to originating from China, Egypt, India, or Morocco, to name just a few, there is absolutely no evidence that this is the case. Nor, as is often quoted, is there any evidence whatsoever that the tarot was brought to Europe by the Romanis. The name tarot is often attributed to being Egyptian, Hebrew, or Latin. This is not the case. The earliest names are all Italian in origin. The cards were originally called carte de triomphe. Around 1530 the word tarocchi began to be used to differentiate them from a new game of triumphs that was in vogue at the time. The etymology of this new word is unknown. The German variant was known as tarot and the French tarot. The symbolism for the tarot is drawn from the culture of medieval and Renaissance Europe. The tarot subjects are distinctive to European Christendom. The symbolism does not come from Egypt or any of the other exotic locales often mentioned. It is often stated that modern-day playing cards evolved from the tarot. This is not the case. Modern-day playing cards came to Europe courtesy of Islam. They were an adaptation of the Islamic Mamluk cards. They appeared quite suddenly in many different European cities between 1375 and 1378. These early cards had suits of cups, swords, coins, and polo sticks, and courts consisting of a king and two male underlings. The tarot adds the Fool, the trumps, and a set of queens to this system. Sometime before 1480, the French introduced cards with the now familiar suits of hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. The Joker is not original to either the early form of modern-day cards, or to the tarot, but instead originated in the USA around 1857 and was used as a wild card in poker as well as the highest trump in euchre. It is also often stated that the Catholic and Protestant churches outlawed the tarot and all who used it in an effort to stamp out so-called heretical teachings. This is not the case. The Inquisition documented what the Church considered as evidence of heresy in great detail. The tarot was not even mentioned. After the Reformation, less controversial images for the Pope and Papess were substituted by card makers as the Church had objected to the original images. It is often said that the tarot was not used as a divination tool prior to 1781. The tarot was used as early as the 16th century to compose poems describing personality characteristics. There is historical evidence that in one case at least these verses were presented as relating to the person's fate. In other words, divination. Divinatory meanings were assigned to the tarot in Bologna in the early 1700s, and this is the first unambiguous evidence of tarot divination. Ordinary playing cards were connected with divination as early as 1487. It is not unreasonable to think that the tarot was also. The tarot has often been attributed with being a pillar of Western esoterica occultism. This is certainly not the case. The first occult writers to discuss the tarot were Court de Gabellin and the Comte de Melot in 1781. The tarot was not mentioned in any occult work for the first 350 years of its existence. The terms Major Arcana, Minor Arcana, High Priestess, and Hierophant are anachronistic when referring to the older tarot decks. The historically appropriate terms are the trumps and the fool, the suit cards, popes or popes, and pope. Likewise, pentacles and wands are relatively recent substitutions for the traditional suit names of coins and staves or batons. The original Italian titles of the cards were in some cases different from the later French titles that have become familiar to us through the Tarot de Marseille and its descendants. Also, the ordering of the trumps varied considerably in Italy, where the cards originated. It is not known which ordering is the earliest one. Even the number of cards in the deck varied a great deal. So care should be used in making statements about the original meaning of the cards based on the familiar titles and ordering. Many believe that the Waite-Smith Tarot is the original, standard, or most authentic tarot deck in existence. This is absolutely untrue. The Waite-Smith/Rider-Waite deck was created in 1909, not even 100 years ago, making it a relative newcomer in the almost 600-year history of the tarot. There is actually no definitive version of the tarot.